Welcome to part 2. I'm excited to bring this to you today. I hope everybody gets a chance. Finally, the autumn leaves got painted. So if you get a chance, you might take a ride down to Tonka, go up on top, look out over the valley, and just view the color. Only God could paint them that way. Well, since the beginning of time, we have been slowly awakening. It's more than an awakening. It's about the evolution of the soul's growth and how it is beginning to awaken within life throughout the world. Our affirmation today is, when I live in the awareness of my thoughts and feelings, I am an expression of love. Let's say that together, please. When I live in the awareness of my thoughts and feelings, I am an expression of love. Well, this being part 2 of Awakening to Spiritual Awareness, I'd like to do a little review on part 1, just to bring you up to date. We first started with Darwin's theory of relativity and his belief that one formed life evolved to another and that life just happened. I suggested that if it did, it was part of God's divine order to bring us into this experience of life we now experience. We have talked about the hidden knowledge held within the subconscious mind and how they are a part of our ever-expanding awareness. I suggested that the bits and pieces that come from our subconscious mind slowly seep into our conscious mind and reveal themselves to us. We talked about our DNAs and the fact that many spiritual leaders believe they are blueprinted within our own souls, known as soul genetics, and how our souls retain lessons learned and passed down through the evolution of human life. Soul genetics being a process of humans slowly expanding their awareness of God's presence in their lives and all of the lives yet to come. We even spoke briefly about hypnosis and how hypnosis can unlock hidden, embedded beliefs that need to be released and let go of. We spent some time discussing the values of the passages in the Old Testament and how they help us to awaken consciously and become more aware of our spiritual lives. We talked about how our world is slowly awakening in spiritual consciousness. Having discussed the passages of the Old Testament, let's now talk about the New Testament and how it has helped us awaken. There are many passages in the New Testament that have lifted our spiritual awareness. Let's visit a few of them that moved us beyond the teachings of the Old Testament into a new awareness. Jesus was the greatest teacher to bring us into a higher level of spiritual consciousness. In Matthew 5:39, but I tell you, Do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them also the other cheek. Luke 6:29, part of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, calls us for peaceful resistance and not violent retaliation. What a dramatic change that was from the Old Testament that was about power and control. In Matthew 22:38, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no greater commandment than this. I ask you, is not the one who slapped you also your neighbor? All the teachings of Jesus are to awaken us to a higher spiritual awareness. Jesus brought us the Beatitudes from the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:3 through 5:12. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are all those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, again, is to awaken us to our spiritual awareness, telling us of all the blessings awaiting us when we change our ways and live on the principles that Jesus has taught us. These are a few of the many, many passages you can find throughout the New Testament that will help awaken us to a higher awareness of our own spirituality. I ask you, when was the last time any of you actually opened your Bible and read a verse from it? I know it's been a while for me. Fortunately, I get to come up here and speak once in a while, so I have to do this more often. But it's very important for all of us to open our Bibles occasionally. What are you doing, really, to awaken your own spiritual awareness? What might be the next step we take when we're trying to awaken? The Bible discussed two comings of Jesus. The first was the birth and ministry of Jesus. The second is when he returns on Judgment Day. Unity teaches the second coming is not a personal event. The second coming is not a personal event, but an inner, individual experience where we, as each person, realizes our own divine nature as the Christ consciousness by living the truth taught by Jesus. God is love and only knows love. There is no place within God for judgment. there is only love, grace, and acceptance of all of us exactly as we are. Reverend Jim Rosemary, founder of this church, wrote a book called The Third Coming. It was about releasing religious dogma. The third coming will be when we as individuals come together and awaken to the truth taught by Jesus. Can you imagine what our world would be like with no religions? A world where we as individuals all work together seeking the truth taught in the Bible. Today, there are many spiritual leaders teaching the importance of living in the awareness of our thoughts. They teach about living in the present moment. We can't live in the past. We can't live in the future. We can only live in this moment, right now. Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, the Dalai Lama, and Thich Nhat Hanh all talked about living in the awareness of our thoughts and living them right now in this moment. I believe the next step in moving towards the third coming is for us as individuals to start living in the awareness of our own thoughts. If we as individuals can learn to be still for a moment and observe our thoughts, become aware of what they are before we speak or act, we will be moving into a higher level of spiritual consciousness, and we will bring about the third coming. Repeat this statement after me, if you will. If we want good results, we must be aware of our thoughts. Let's say that together. If we want good results, we must be aware of our thoughts. I cannot express the importance it is for us to become aware of what we are thinking before we speak or respond to anything happening in the outer world. I would like to try a little experiment. This is not a meditation, but I'm going to ask all of you to place your feet on the floor, sit still for a moment, observe your thoughts. Just observe them. Try to think of two things at a time. See if you can think of two things at the very same time. You will find you cannot. Your mind will just jump from one thing to another, from one thing to another. Now I want to ask you to focus your attention on your right foot. Feel your right foot. Just feel it. Now, center your attention on your left foot. Just feel it. Can you feel it? Now I want you to feel both your feet at the same time. Feel both your feet at the same time. When you can feel both feet at the same time, raise your hand. Can you feel them? Both feet. Now I ask you, what has more power over you? Your feelings or your thoughts? I believe our feelings have more power than our thoughts. When we learn to observe our thoughts and also observe the feelings our thoughts bring, then we will know if the choices we are about to make are positive or negative. Then we will always respond to what is happening in the outer world with more love. My friends, in part 1 and part 2, we talked about how our human race has and is slowly awakening spiritually. In the weeks to come, I encourage each of you to be aware of your thoughts and your feelings before you speak or respond to what is happening in the outer world. Together, one person at a time, we can awaken a higher level of spiritual awareness throughout the world. Got a little footnote I've added, and this came to me in silent meditation. Question popped into my mind. What does God think? Talking about consciousness. What does God think? I don't know where the question came from or why I had it. But the answer was even more surprising than the question, because the answer came in the form of a metaphor, which I'd like to share with you. If you look at a daisy, you only see the daisy. If you look at a vast field of daisies, you see all the daisies at once. God's thought is like a field of daisies. Everything that is held within one thought. There is no separation in God. There is only oneness. My friends, enjoy your journey as you awaken to your spiritual awareness. Let's take thoughts of our awareness into meditation. Relax in your seats. Sit back. Relax your arms in your lap. It's okay. Move your head and shoulders around. Allow your neck and shoulders just to relax. Take in a deep breath. Slowly release it. Be still. Just breathe. Be aware of the thoughts as they come and go. Just observe them. Let them pass. Let them flow. In the short spaces between our thoughts, we find awareness. Center your attention on your feelings. Realizing they have more power than your thoughts. Feel the love within you. Allow the awareness of your love to flow outward from you and enfold all those throughout the world. The awareness of my thoughts and my feelings are who I am. God thought is one thought. There is no separation. I am one with the oneness. I am the observer of all that is. I give thanks to be aware, feel, and observe my oneness with God. And so it is. Namaste, my friends.